But I'm just too afraid that I'll be wrong.
Welcome back to season 4. Welcome to Colorful Voices of Sisterhood season 4. We are so glad you guys are joining us today. You are in for another treat. We have some special guests joining us today, which Miss Diana will introduce shortly. But ladies, how you guys been? I missed the first episode, and you guys did a fabulous job. You guys looked fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
So glad you got your voice back.
I did. I lost it for a whole week. I didn't know what to do, guys.
I said because you went to DC to fight for.
Yes, I had to fight
Yes.
for some funding for the community. So we'll see how that works out for us.
I would say it's probably the weather too. I mean, we have been getting a lot of, it's too hot.
Yeah.
It's excruciating hot.
It's been extremely
Just
hot.
reminds you don't want to go to hell.
You better know. Confirmation.
Just reminds you
where
that
did
you
that
don't
come
want to come
from?
there.
Diana said you better be on your best behavior.
If hell is worse than this, whatever comes to you cross your mind, just switch quick.
Quick. And speaking of that, there had been some tragedy going on over the weekend and of course Monday. Just a lot of mass shootings. Once again, we're at that spot that it continues to happen.
And if you notice the mass shooting, it's a lot of young people killing their parents or grandparents.
Yes.
It's like, what is going on that is that? You know, not like people are shooting because they lost their jobs and they're struggling. These are young people that's doing it.
Yeah. And then that goes to the thing about the mental health. You know, is it all mental health or is there other issues that are causing it? Because you're right, Diana. These are young individuals where their whole life ahead of them is now gone.
Yeah, that's why we have a special specialist and therapist. But at the same time, and children, they experience too, right? And children, just like even though we have life ahead of them, experiences, they still experience because I believe from my own experience where it's happened in the family. They observe it, but we don't think it that way. We are open book to our children. Every chapter we flip every day, they flip, they read it. So
yeah. Well, the one I know one of the shootings was prior NFL, a football player, which in his suicide note, because obviously he knew he was going to do what he's going to do, not survive it. But he put on there about, he wanted them to do the autopsy for him to see if he's got that CTS is what they call it.
CTE.
Yes. And, it baffles me that the only way they could diagnose someone with it is after they die through an autopsy. There's got to be a better way.
So much brain injury, so many hits, so much stuff that's going on. But this shooting is local. A lot of shooting is local. Kinston and Greenville.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
What is happening?
Yes.
You're about scared to even go into stores and stuff now because it's so much killing going on.
Well, was it Walmart that had the stabbing this weekend?
Yes, in northern Michigan.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Good thing that no one died.
Yeah. It was like a rampage of 20-something people.
Yes.
But, yes. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Can you
Like,
imagine?
there's
It's
nowhere
just-
that's safe.
Can you imagine you're walking inside the Walmart and here comes a person, bang!
Yep.
You're just randomly doing that. Oh my goodness.
You definitely got to be aware of your surroundings.
And then it makes you think that you really got to be prepared for that. Like, what would you do in that situation? Like, if I had my grandchild, my first priority would be to protect her. But then, as a citizen, someone needs to intervene, and how does that work? Good thing we had that individual intervene with the guy with the knife, because it could have been worse. So just a lot to think about.
yeah, that's what's so important for us to interact and be mindful wherever we go, because really you don't know individual what they go through mentally.
Yeah.
You don't know what they are capable of, what they are stable to do. So that is so important to be kind to one another. you don't know who observe you.
Right.
Okay, really you don't.
Right.
You know, wherever we go, that's what we have to be our conscious and to be mind. Those people that observe too, you know, they going through stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
And that reminds me when I was stationed in Iwakuni, I was walking across the field and another Marine was coming towards me, you know, and I just said good morning to him. He walked past me, then he stopped and he's like, excuse me. He goes, thank you for seeing me.
Wow.
And I
Exactly.
was surprised. I was like, well, what do
Yes.
you mean? He was getting ready to go kill himself.
Wow.
You see, I'm
He left
no,
his
really.
office and was on his way to do that.
Wow.
And because I acknowledged, and all I did was say good morning to him. He, you know, we talked a little bit, and then I took him to go talk with the chaplain, but it changed what he was going to do after that.
I'm telling you, you
And
can-
it's just, you
I
know,
think
that's
we-
always stuck with me.
We've gotten away from just being kind
Just being
to
kind.
people.
No,
just
really,
being
it is
kind.
kind. You
Just
don't know
being
what
kind.
people go through.
Yes.
Really, you don't know. Just saying hello, like you said, you
Just
said
good
it's like good
morning,
morning.
yeah.
And just
People
by
they're
a
not
simple,
looking.
and just by a simple smile.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
kind.
means a lot to them.
He just felt like he was seen. And I was baffled. And ever since then, people always say, you know, why you always got to smile? Because, you know, even if I'm feeling bad, smile to make someone else feel better, you know?
Because you don't know what nobody's going
You don't,
through.
exactly.
Yeah.
You,
You
you
don't.
have no idea what they've been through, what they're going through. Yeah.
Be nice to customer service.
Yes.
No, for real. You don't know
Yes.
they deal with so many people.
Oh my
You know,
gosh.
when you go to at the register, be mindful, trying to help. Like really,
Yeah.
I look so many areas. Like janitor, you don't know
Oh,
what
yeah.
they go through.
Right.
Well, just like
Which-
waitresses.
Yes.
Yes,
There's
waitresses.
so many people that are rude for no
Yes.
reason, and I just don't get it. They're just doing their job.
Yes.
You know?
That's all they're doing.
Just be kind, people. That's
And
the
I always
word.
say,
be
Yes,
kind.
be
I tell my
kind.
family when we go out, if it ain't the way you want it, cook home.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
everybody, they're doing the best that they can.
Right.
And we have to realize a lot of business are working still short,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
still trying to serve you.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, just be mindful. And you said something about home. A lot of times, when my kids was growing up, we didn't have closed doors. I didn't have closed doors, so I took that on as a parent. Your doors wasn't closed.
Yeah.
I need to know what's going on in this household.
Yeah.
But a lot of
Yeah.
parents don't know
Yeah. Well,
what's going on in their
especially-
rooms.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially if they're on their phones. It's really hard to know what they're doing all the time on those phones too.
Sometimes it's not about the phone, what is outsider is doing, it's what inside is doing. You see, it's easier to say, you know, those children, they are on the phone, they're doing this. That is not what really have impact on the children. What has impact on the children most of the time is in the family.
Well, that's double.
And
That's two ways
That's
though.
two
yeah,
ways.
that's what lead them
These
to.
older people
Yes.
are preying on our
I'm
kids.
praying on them. Exactly.
And we don't know. And then they're going to school, keep right on going.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Just
used to
last
watch them
night.
get dropped off in the mall, leave for the mall, got right on in somebody else's car, and gone. Their parents think they're in there shopping.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, the connection between the child, teenagers, and the parents right now is, I'm sorry to say, it's gone. It's gone. I mean, and then we can blame them also because parents nowadays are busy. They go to work. By the time they come home, they're tired. So
Yeah.
really, where can we
But-
draw the line?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
No.
I think I definitely don't think that's not an excuse because our parents
Yeah.
worked
They have
and
to.
were tired, and their parents worked and were tired. At some point, something went wrong, and I really think it was my generation. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's where it kind of went wrong. But
It's way different.
yeah, because I remember our parents were my parent, I can't speak for everybody, was very strict. We had to
Yeah,
be
mine too.
home before the street lights
That's
went off.
right.
You know, they had to know where you're at. They knew
They
all
knew
of our
friends.
friends. They
Yes.
knew the numbers to the
Right.
house. But we didn't have cell phones. So you had to be very clear saying where you're going to be, and that's where you're going
You
to be.
better be there.
You
I
better
think
be
it's
there.
very, very important to at least have maybe once a week with family, like have a family home evening.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or why not have dinner together every night?
Yeah.
I think it's very important for family to have dinner or breakfast. I know really like we can make time for to go on social media. You know,
Right.
let's be real. Like
Yeah.
wake up early in the morning if you want to spend time. You know, life is gonna take you busy all day, right? Wake up early in the morning, trying to make something for your children so you can all eat in the table. Okay,
You know,
it's time to
What
eat.
we're
Right.
talking right now is really pretty basic. We can do it. I mean, we can do this.
It can.
I mean, I really hate a teenager coming home and we straight right to the room. As parents, we should ask them, "How's your day?" With
Yeah.
a smile, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
Sometimes they don't want to answer. They don't, like my daughter, she's 17. I go to her room, lay in bed, and then, I jump on her. She tells me, like, Mom, please leave me. No, we're going to spend time. I just jump like little kid. She act like, you told me she act like I'm teenager. So
You know, I know how to push my kids sometimes. I know they don't like that one, but hey, come on, I just need 3 minutes of your time.
Yeah. I know my kids, I got 2 teenage boys,
Yeah.
you know, and they think I nag at them because they complain to my sister and my mom, but, you know, who's going to do it?
Right.
That's
right.
I'm the only person
I'm the
that.
parent, though.
Yes,
right.
it's my job to do that.
I will become your friend when you start paying your own bills out of your own house. But
Exactly.
see, that's the old school in me,
Yeah.
where you do your daughter. My girls couldn't do that. When I'm talking to you, stop.
Stop and
I'm talking to you. I am not your friend. You ain't paid a bill in here, and we're gonna conversate.
Yeah.
But see, that's the difference in the generations to,
Right.
I think
to
so
me.
too.
And even when my grandkids come to the house, I remember one time my grandson said, "Mimi, this is not the house I could jump in the chair in." I'll say, "Jump in my chair if you want to." That's right. Not in this house. And we don't eat all over our house, but other people do.
Oh, no, yeah.
See, you know, I like that. We as parents should be firm. Firm.
Yeah.
We need to be serious. I mean, what's going on in the world today? God bless, you know, the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, my dad always say, put the fear in between the ages of 1 and 6. You ain't got to worry about
Don't
it.
gotta worry
When they get
about
older.
it. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
there have to
right.
be some intentionality. Like
Yes.
the parents, the adults, just in general, have to be intentional with whatever rules, whatever measure of discipline that you're going to have. Just be intentional.
Yeah.
So on that note, Diane, let's introduce our guest and start our conversation about mental health.
It's so good.
Yes,
excited.
yes.
Yes.
So, without limits, counseling and therapy. I have Star Rogers and Lakeesa.
Lakeesa. Yes.
I am so excited because I tell people you need God, you need your family, you need a therapist. you need that community because you cannot do a lot alone.
Right.
So I'm excited when they say yes.
Yes.
And I'll let them tell them a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like she said, I'm Estrella Rogers. Everybody calls me Star. But I am a licensed clinical social worker, certified Gottman therapist. So I work with couples, children, families. I also am the owner of Without Limits Counseling Services. And so I have with me today Lakeesa, who is one of my therapists. And so she's a provisional licensed therapist. And so she's in training. And so she just, all she has left is pass her test. And then she will be a fully licensed therapist.
Wow.
So we're excited.
Prayers.
So we're excited.
Yes.
And so, but a big thing that we do like to do is do podcasts and just really talk to individuals about mental health because this is something that is near and dear to both of our hearts, but just really making sure that we're educating our community in any way that we can because we do know that mental health has had a bad rep, so to speak. And so being able to normalize it and normalize people actually seeking help. And so that's one thing that we've really been trying to make sure that we are just intentional about.
Yeah. I love that you said normalize it.
Yes.
Because it, you know, for some reason, like you said, it comes across as a bad thing, but just like physical,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, mental,
Yes.
it's all part of us in one thing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you got a physical ailment, you would work to correct it.
Yep.
The same with the mental. And,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I think
would-
with normalizing the idea of mental health, you have to kind of go back to just the language that you're using in general. When people talk about mental health, that's just a state of how you feel. It's a state of being.
Yeah.
And then you hear of mental illness. And of course, that word illness,
It's change, right?
yeah, that makes everyone say, oh no, let me back away.
It's got a negative
It has a negative connotation to it. And when you have the word illness or disorder, that just means that there's a clinical piece attached to it. Like there's an official diagnosis of whatever you have going on, and it's not a bad thing.
No.
It's not a bad thing at all.
It has a different level.
It just
Yes.
it just has a different level, and maybe it takes a little bit more tweaking, a little bit more resources, but yeah, it's a thing, just like having a cold.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's not that bad. It's not bad at all.
And then that's what. So, you started the your business. What prompted you to start the business?
Well, funny thing. So therapy has always been something that I've always wanted to do.
Okay.
After I decided that law was not for me. So, but helping people in some way, shape, or form is what I wanted to do. I actually was working as a supervisor in mental health, in the mental health field, and they lost their contract. When the agency lost their contract, I had to make a decision. And I said, God, what is it that I need to do next? What is my next move? And it was to go out on my own. And so I went out on my own, and literally I had maybe the next month or so, I had a therapist, and she said, hey, well, I want to work for you. And then I said, oh, okay. And then somebody else said, I want to work for you. And then we ended up having a group practice. And literally, I said, God, well, what's the name? I was still trying to figure these things out. And I looked up on my, it's like a board when you walk into my house, when you're walking out, but it says Dream Without Limits. And I said, it's Without Limits. And then that's how we got the name. But I wanted to teach others, because I can only do so much.
Right.
But if I can teach my clinicians to know what I know, and people will ask me, why do you have so many certifications? Because I'm a registered play therapist supervisor. I'm also a Christian counselor, so I do all these things. But I wanted to make sure that when I brought therapists on, that I could actually train them in what I know. And so now we can reach the masses, as opposed to just me seeing 20 people a week. Now we can see 100 people a week.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful thing. So that
And
was...
then, so for your field, each area has to have a special license.
So give or take. So we have to be licensed. So once we graduate, we have to be licensed. So you can either be a LCSW, which we're social workers.
Okay.
You can be a licensed mental health counselor, and so they go to school for specifically counseling. You have LMFTs as well, and LCASs who focus on substance abuse. But once you get your license, some people just do general therapy. So generalized anxiety, depression, they kind of see everybody in a catch-all.
Okay.
But then some of us have niches where we actually get certifications. And so we have to do hours of training.
Lots of hours.
Hours of training.
Lots of hours.
Consultations. So to become a Gottman therapist, for instance, that took me 2 years. But I had to literally see couples and have somebody review what I was doing. And so it's a process. It is a process.
So if there's listeners out there that are really thinking about seeing a therapist, how would they go about identifying a good therapist that fits their needs? What would be a good process for that?
First, just identifying that there is a need, and that takes a great amount of strength to even say to yourself and say it out loud that I need some help. We go to Google, or we go to psychology.today.com, and they allow you to have all types of filters. You can get a man, you can have a woman, you can have someone that fits a specific age range, you can have a specific race. So I definitely like Psychology Today because you can do all the filters and have it to customize your package.
Okay.
So if someone will come to your office,
Yes.
okay, you diagnose them, blah, 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 do they retain? I mean, how many visits, or what are the programs that you gave them? Is there any workshop? Okay, now you know that this person needs this.
Right.
So
So once somebody comes, we do an assessment. And that is where we get the diagnosis from. It's an assessment that's basically we take all of the symptoms that you have as well as the things that are going on in your life. And so it's frequency, intensity, duration, onset. So we have to take all of that into consideration. Then you will receive a diagnosis, but then you also receive a treatment plan. After your treatment plan, and then you and your therapist decide what's going to work for you. So based on the intensity, you may get weekly sessions. You will see sometimes people will get bi-weekly sessions. Some people will be added to groups. So if you're dealing with anger management, for example, we do have anger management groups. So
have
that
it now,
might
right?
be, we actually have one going on right now
Yes.
for teens and for men. And that's something that we'll add to your treatment plan as well. Sometimes you have two different types of insurances. So you have what we call EAPs, which are from your job. A lot of people do not know if you work in even Food Lion or Sam's or wherever you work, and I just brought those up because people don't normally like realize like they have that, but they're called employment. It's an employment assistance program.
Yes.
If you go there, you can get 3 to 12 sessions for free.
For free.
For therapy.
That's awesome.
So some people
Did you say
will
for
use-
free?
I did say for free.
Say for free?
I said for free.
For free. Yes, free. You heard
My
that.
favorite
free.
four-letter word.
Yes. But then some people use their insurance. And
Okay.
if you have insurance and if the agency takes your insurance, you do have to be mindful. Sometimes you have a copay, sometimes you have a deductible. And so it just depends on the length of your time. It's just going to depend on what you and your therapist decide when it comes to just regular insurance. It could be a year. It could be 12 weeks.
And I
So it
like
just
what you
depends.
said. It's because it's a partnership. It really is. It's a new partnership between you and your therapist, and you all set goals, and you work the plan. You work the plan, and when the plan doesn't work anymore, you go back to the drawing board and you come up with another plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's important, where they can really help kind of filter down their
Yes.
therapist, because it's really got to be an open partnership
Yes.
and a trusting environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I will say this part, or add this too, when you are looking, it's okay if you go through more than one person. It's okay to be in charge of your journey.
Yes.
I will tell you, and I tell, and everybody knows, even on my calendar at work, it says therapy. I am a therapist with a therapist. And
Yes.
as is Lakeesa, I like all of my therapists to actually go to therapy.
Yes.
But to be very honest, this is not my first therapist that I found. Like, I had to go through and figure out who was right for me. And a lot of people get discouraged when they go to therapy and they say, oh, I didn't like that person, I'm just not going to go anymore. No, they weren't for you. Go. It's okay to sign on and go to the next person until you find what you're looking for in the person that's going to work for you. Because we do it with doctors.
Yes.
We do it with with food.
Yeah.
And it's the same concept.
Yep.
You keep trying
So
foods until you find what you like.
Your mind.
That's right.
You're trying to heal, you know.
Yes.
I was reading an article. Why do you think that a lot of people, they're having a hard time sharing that they have a mental health problem?
Well, just going back to the labeling itself, no one likes to have that label of having a mental health disorder because it's a word that just has not been destigmatized.
Yeah.
It can go back to the church. It can go back to racism and, all of those things where it has just been given a negative look. And so to actually verbalize that I have something going on, it is tough to do that. And people look at you differently. Sometimes they will treat you differently. And that's because we have not made it a normalized idea.
One thing I notice is the younger generation seems to be more open. Like a lot of them say they have anxiety.
Yes.
They,
Depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
And-
share more.
Yes, they share more. They're more open about that, and I love
Right.
that. Do you guys see more younger people getting the help they need versus an older person who may need
I
it?
will be honest and say I think it's I think it's growing. I think one reason why it's growing, honestly, is because of social media.
Yes.
If you go on social media, mental health, people are talking
Yes.
about their mental health.
Yes.
And I think kids are really saying, okay, I want to do this. But I will say, here's the issue. Kids are saying, I want to go see a therapist. You still have parents that will
Right,
say
under that same
you
mentality,
don't need
yeah.
to go see any therapist.
Right,
What's
right.
happening, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like a battle.
Yes.
I think that's happening. But I absolutely have most of my teens that come into the office. I've had someone as young as 9 that has come into the office, and she said, "Oh, I told my mom I needed to come see a therapist," and the parent brought them. So
Yeah.
you do see it, but like I said, unfortunately, when I do go to a lot of the schools, a lot of the children will say that their parents do not listen to them. They may have a therapist that they don't like, and the parents will say, "Well, you just don't want to go to therapy." And it's like, no, I don't like the therapist. So we need to
And
do a
then
better
there
job
goes
of
that
listening.
communication
Yep.
between family members.
Yes,
where a lot of times parents are not listening.
But that's because that's not something that parents
Exactly.
did.
Yeah.
And kind of just going back to the church, people don't think that religion and therapy can exist on the same playing field, and it really can. It really can. You can leave your problems at the altar, and then you go to your therapist to figure out some coping skills while you wait.
That's right.
While you're waiting on God
I love
to
how
do what
you
He's
said
going to
that.
do. And so they can exist together, but because the parents have not been familiarized with it, or not wanting to address it, then it becomes the kids to be the leaders. And I really applaud, like, even celebrities who are being more vocal about having mental health challenges. That's why I like challenges.
Yeah.
Mental health challenges, because that's where the kids are. They're on the internet. They're seeing it, and it empowers them to do a little bit
There's
more.
people they look up to, like big one was Selena Gomez.
Yes.
I remember when she went through hers, and I thought how powerful that was for everybody who looked up to her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So we normalize it.
Yes.
Make it
Talk, like
normalize as
talking.
far as going to the doctor and stuff.
Yeah.
But when you were saying something, it made me realize that even with what I'm going through, people look at you different. But you got to know, they don't know if they're going through something.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because
So
we
I'm
don't
gonna
because
talk.
we don't wear
When people
mental health
ask me,
here.
I'm like, I can't take this off all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a season, I call it a season of my life that I'm going through.
Yes.
Ask me about it.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
So also, how do you know someone is struggling with mental health? What is the sign? How do you differentiate someone
The
that
assessment that they're doing.
is gone through, like, how do you know, like, people that just normal, that they seem normal, what is the sign to kind of say, okay, this person is struggling?
Yeah.
I saw the sign.
No, I think it differs for people, but there are some main ones. If you have someone that is always happy, go lucky, and they're always smiling, and all of a sudden you notice like they're isolated, or you notice that they're very much to themselves and withdrawn, like then okay, wait a minute, something may be going on here. When somebody is crying often, like if you're crying often, irritable, like really frustrated, those are like key signs that I would
Yeah.
say that you would say, okay, wait a minute, something is.
That's not a
something is
tears
wrong.
of joy.
Right.
Something is different,
Right,
And
exactly.
like it's like you're like, even with when we were talking about with parents and kids, but even when you with your parents, if you come home and your mom is like, go do this, and and they're just like all the time
Yes.
something, it's like, whoa, like, why are you so frustrated? 9 times out of 10, your parent may have anxiety. A parent could be dealing with stress,
Just
they're
being
depressed,
overwhelmed.
overwhelmed, like burnt out, teachers, like there's so much happening in our everyday lives. And then when you start to see that, I tell people it'll seep out because we
Yes.
try to like hold it in.
Yes.
But when it starts to seep out,
Yes.
everybody around you
Yes.
starts to notice. And
When
so
you-
you have to look at those signs and be able to
And
say,
be honest about it, because I told Raquel I had to have a happy pill.
yes.
Where I was,
What's that?
I take one
life,
every
life,
morning.
life
Yeah.
was doing so much to me at one point
Yes.
that I didn't sleep, going through a whole lot. So I have to take a pill sometime just to calm me down. But going to therapist when I found out, girl, you need some help.
Yeah. And I would say this too, because you just mentioned it, like a lack of sleep.
Yes.
Is
sleep hygiene,
something.
yeah.
If you notice somebody says, "Oh, I just haven't been sleeping," like your next thing you could say to them is, "Well, why haven't you been sleeping, or what's happening when you lay down?"
Right.
Because a lot of times we will go to bed at 9 o'clock.
And we're not rested.
And we're not resting,
We're
and our
not
mind
resting.
is just going, and we don't actually fall asleep till
Right,
12.
right.
Well, you may have some anxiety. So asking questions once you notice something is going on, ask the questions. You know, tell me a little bit more.
Absolutely.
One thing healthy also to do, this is just
Yeah,
me
absolutely.
talking, okay? I'm going to start my car. Just scream. I mean, it's healthy.
Yes.
You know
That
the word.
is more
You
often.
know the word when they say, if you feel like crying, cry.
Cry.
It feels good. Screaming
Feel
is good
all
too.
the feels. Feel all the things. Feel them. Feel them.
So
Yeah.
this is where he leaves some people suicidal thoughts. So how can we talk about suicidal way supportive but not harmful to humanity?
So one, I will say number one, and here's another thing, talking about it, right? Because we don't talk about it. And a lot of people will say, well, if I talk about it, then that's going to make them want to do it. No, to be very honest, if I'm thinking about suicide and you come and say something to me about, and you say, hey,
About life.
I noticed, X, Y, and Z, like, are you okay? Have you been thinking about hurting yourself? Because you asked me that question, that's not going to make me go do it.
Right.
Like, if I was already thinking about it, whether you said something or not, does not put this seed in my head. It's already there if that's the case. So us not being afraid to have the conversations
Right.
with people, not being afraid to use platforms like this and say the word suicide. I think now it's unalive is
Yes,
Word.
The word.
the word to use.
Unalive.
Unalive, yes.
So how would you say that? Do you feel unalive?
Do you want to unalive yourself?
Yeah, or do you have feelings of being
I
unalive?
haven't heard of that.
Yeah.
So interesting.
I noticed it on social media a lot
Yeah.
because they don't like that word to be put out there. So they
Oh.
they start using
So they,
unalive.
yeah,
Unalive.
so.
Okay.
But I think, and then supporting someone and not telling them, oh, you're selfish. Oh,
Yeah.
is that your thought? Well, you're selfish.
Yeah, validate.
Are they being selfish? Like, and because they feel like they're not.
Right.
A lot of times when people are suicidal, a lot of times they feel like they're actually taking a weight off of other people and they're
Yes.
not being a burden anymore. Nobody
Yes.
has to worry about me anymore.
Yes.
Nobody has to think about me. And so now they actually feel like they're doing it
A favor.
a favor.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
wow.
so true.
And so when you're talking to them, you say, hey, let's sit down and let's talk about this. Let's talk about how we can get you help. Let's talk about what you may need. Let's talk about the fact that you do matter.
Yes.
And explaining that to them that they matter.
Yes.
So
I'm thinking, sitting here listening to you too, if I just may say, if you are experiencing any depression, anxiety, mental illness, please tell to yourself that yes, you can come and visit me, but you cannot stay in me forever. So bye-bye. I guess it's easy sometimes to say that, but really, it's
Yeah.
true.
It's-
You cannot
Sometimes.
consume me.
Yeah.
Go away.
I think it becomes difficult because they believe it. So when someone is dealing with negative thoughts and really dealing with, and this could be even with anxiety, but you begin to believe the thoughts that are happening.
Yes.
And so if I come in a room and my thought is nobody cares about me, nobody likes me, and then I walk into a room, even if someone says, hey, how you doing? My mind automatically says, oh, they just said hi because they had to say it.
Because they had to.
So
Right.
it's this negative thought pattern that they have, and they begin to really believe that. And so in therapy,
The entertaining.
right, and they entertain them.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
in therapy, we do teach how to, one, we talk about where do those core beliefs come from.
Right.
We talk about how do we actually change it. Is that thought real?
How to unbreak that.
And how to
Yes.
challenge those thoughts.
And how to challenge them.
Yes.
So the first thought come to you, you don't have any control. But the second thoughts come to you, you can say, you know what, I'm not gonna
That's right.
entertain.
Yeah,
We
no.
all have that power. Say, you know what,
That is correct.
I'm not gonna entertain this thought. This is not me. You know.
Yep.
So we have chance to redirect our thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But some people got to be taught how to
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking, especially a younger person, especially when they say, for example, young men don't really truly fully develop until 25. So you're talking maybe a 21-year-old, for example, is not fully developed. So
Yeah.
if that comes to their mind, they got to be trained
I know
on
some,
how to cope
I know
with
some
that.
63-years-olds that are not fully
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every 7 to 10 years. years, your body goes through
But
something.
even when you get to some really like when you get to some age, it's still life happening because the more you grow, the more you see things.
Yes.
Especially when you have hardship.
Yes, still learning.
When you have hardship in life, and that's like when you go back and rethink about everything, like what I have done, what is my purpose. Like what you were saying earlier is some people really feel like if I'm depart this earth, it would be better off for everybody. Right. Especially when you go through stuff like, I'm adding any positive to people's lives, or I'm just dragging everybody to my madness. And just know that your life is being given to you.
That's right.
That is your life, nobody else. And we have to separate. Also, I wanted to ask, is when the weather change, calamity, effect?
Yes.
I see summer.
Yes, seasonal. Yeah.
Seasonal. No,
Yeah.
Sometimes.
It does.
Yes.
Seasonal depression is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
To be very honest, and honestly, it's funny because right now, if you look on, they have something called Therapist TikTok. But if you look up there, everybody is saying, "Oh, okay, so everybody just got better all of a sudden. Everybody's outside." I mean, we have cancellations are at an all-time high.
Yes.
No shows. People are just not, and it's because it's hot outside, and they get to go outside, and you feel better because you get to go and you get to be under the sun.
They're
And
absorbing that vitamin
Yes.
D.
Yes.
yes,
But,
I mean,
but then it shifts
Yeah.
in the fall and winter time where you're not able to be outside as much. And now you're kind of reclusing and isolating. And so then that's where that seasonal depression.
So we have a question here from one of our viewers, Danisha. She asked, do you feel that medication for mental health is pushed on people more than trying other avenues first?
so
That's good.
I will definitely say, depending, number one, on so I don't think that it is, depending on where you go, right? Number one, I think that if you are going to see a doctor, so a lot of times people go to their doctor for mental health purposes, and so a doctor is trained to give medication. So they're probably going to give medication first, or that's going to be their first try, right? A psychiatrist is trained to give medication. So normally they're going to provide or prescribe medications first, and then they'll do it along with therapy. If you go to a therapist first, then a lot of times a therapist will say, okay, let's look at this holistically, and let's see what we can do if that's what you want to do as the client. If you don't want medications, then we can try that first. There are a couple of diagnoses, though medication is most likely going to be needed. For example, bipolar, schizophrenia, because those things, there's really like a chemical imbalance that is happening. But when we're dealing with anxiety, maybe depression, a lot of times we can say, okay, let's see if we can work through this. I will say for me, a identifier is how much is this interfering with your daily functioning.
Right.
So if you have anxiety and you're still able to go and do all the things that you need to do, then I'll say, let's keep working at it. Let's keep doing it. But if you're telling me, I can't even go to work, or I'm not getting on the bus, or I'm not doing this, then I'm going to say we might need to go talk to the doctor also and combine the two. So it just honestly, it just really depends on where you are in your journey as a person. I think it does depend on who you go to first in regards to the medical field. But I don't think medication hurts. But then I also think if you can do it without it, then you do it without it.
And therapy can look a lot of different ways. There's art therapy, there's play therapy. Like it can look a variety of different ways. And I that's what I can appreciate about Without Limits. We can do it virtually. I have some people that they only want to do virtual. We can do it in person. We can do a hybrid. So it can look a lot of different ways.
So I guess one question on that one. So say a person just chooses virtually. At some point though, do you ask them to come in so you can really see? Because they're just afraid to like come out of the.
They have to make that known to me that that's the issue,
Oh,
and then if that's their preference, we meet the client where they are. If you don't want to come in, I'm not going to press it. You know, some people like doing therapy in their pajamas. Okay.
And I will say distance it plays a part.
It
like
does.
I have clients as far as Asheville. I have clients in Florida. I have clients in Virginia. So they would never be able to come to my office. But then you have some people that drive an hour and a half. And because they want to come see their therapist. So it's a preference.
I want to ask a question when you said that they may not want to come out. What happens if they are dealing with mental and they don't want to walk out of the house?
So then I will be honest. So one, if your anxiety is to that point, I probably would have referred you to a specialist that really works with a more intense anxiety, to be very honest. Because so for me, that's not, like I work with anxiety, but when people are in spaces like I have a phobia, that's a specialty. And so I personally would have,
Or if it's debilitating.
yeah, I would probably refer them out to someone that specializes in that.
Right.
But they also have home services. So if you have Medicaid, sometimes they have services like community supports that actually come to your home.
Yes.
Peer support.
Peer support,
Yeah.
right. Oh, very
See,
good.
there you go.
See?
They have coaches now.
Yes.
I'll be honest. Now, I would not send somebody that high level to a coach. However, there may be a coach that can work with a therapist because coaches can do certain things that we can't do. So there may be two that could combine together
Yes.
and help that person also. So it just really depends.
And I'm a licensed life coach.
Yes.
And I do refer a lot of people
Yes.
to a therapist.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm limited.
Yes.
I tell them right off the bat, I'm not a therapist.
Yeah.
I only can do this right here to help us go from this point to this point. But if you need more help, I have a list of people.
And that's
that I refer out
that's
to.
the great thing about this. It's like it's a multidisciplinary approach. Like you can collaborate and absolutely building community and doing what's best for that client and providing them with all the resources and whatever they need to support their journey.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, like when I work with the peers, is we there for kind of share our story, so they don't feel like they're
Absolutely.
the only one who went
Yes.
through.
Yeah.
And people, that's what give them hope. We're not doing any work for them. It's just like, hey, I'm with you. I see you. Like you were saying earlier, I see you. I connect with you.
Yes.
So that's on purpose. Most of the time, people, that's what they miss it. They feel like they are the only one
Yeah.
going through. They the only one when different situation. We have another question.
That's why I believe in building a community.
Absolutely.
You need a community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you need somebody to say, look, girl, you need some help.
Absolutely.
Beyond me as a friend,
Yeah.
you need to go and talk with someone.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have another questions from Temika. How can you tell if you or someone is experiencing mentally is more emotional, spiritual versus something that needs more clinical or medical attention?
I think it starts with that initial assessment and just figuring out what the presenting problem is, what their life experience has been to bring them to this point, and then kind of building a plan from there.
I would just, go ahead.
No, because I want to share that with Tamika. I went to psychiatrists. They sat with me. I did not know that they wrote everything down. The way I was sitting, the way I was behaving. No,
Yes,
it's true.
right.
The way I talked, like even my energy, they wrote all that down. I did
Yes.
not know that.
Yeah.
But like you say, they have to ask you what is going on with you to find
Right.
out. Really, they know.
Yeah.
But they gave me good report. They said, at the end of the day, you are okay.
No, me personally think everybody should at least go to therapists just to see.
Yeah.
Assess yourself to see, because I might not go. My girls, they went.
Yeah.
And then of course I got a therapist that I have to talk to all the time because but they need to go to see so you can see yourself.
Yes.
Sometimes you can break generation curse.
Absolutely.
By just
Absolutely.
going.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely.
And I would just really venture to say too, really quickly, that you can still merge the two, and I think that's the beautiful thing. Like when you talk about spirituality as well as working through your mental health clinically, we can merge the two, and that's why I love being a certified Christian counselor, because I get to do that. I get to say, well, okay, so this is your thought about yourself. What does God say about you? And we get to open up the Bible and we get to actually pull out scriptures and use that challenging thought and that thought reconstructing, but we do it with Bible verses, and we can do so. It's really interesting when you get to merge the two together. We don't always do it. If you don't want it, we don't do it. But if you can do it, it's I love it, because the Bible talks about mental health. It says be anxious for nothing.
Right, it tells you
It's
right
in the
there.
Bible.
So just last one question.
Yeah.
So how do you stay healthy emotionally dealing with all these different elements?
So I think one thing is number one, having a routine.
Yeah.
So having a self-care routine, number one, I think is a must. You have to figure out what works for you. So self-care for sure. Number two, talking to people. It is okay to talk to your friends. We are not in the society or the world of what happens in my house stays in my house anymore.
Right.
That is gone.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Talk
Yes.
to people about what you have going on. And honestly, if you need a therapist, you go see a therapist. Physical health is important. So making sure you're getting enough sleep, you're eating, you're exercising, your water, all of that plays into mental health. So taking care of yourself, taking care of you in any way that you know how, building hobbies,
Yes.
enjoying your friends in your community. But I think those are ways that you can.
And set boundaries.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, and set boundaries.
Set
And
boundaries.
I think with self-care, it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to take a trip to Bali, to say I'm doing self-care. I would love to go. Yes. But your self-care can be just as simple as just painting.
Yeah.
Just something
30
simple.
seconds, please.
Yes.
And this person, Cora, how do we combat seasonal depression?
I think that's the same thing with having a routine. So
Yes.
knowing that it's coming, understanding yourself, being aware of your body, and saying, what do I need to do in these moments? How do I prep for what's coming up? And that's the best I
And
would
get to
say.
know yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
Know thyself.
Know yourself when you
One more time.
Okay.
when you're experiencing. Get to
Yeah.
know yourself, like why
Yeah.
you feeling the way you're feeling,
Yeah.
and look like what is my temperature in my house, outside, all that. Get to know yourself, what it really triggered you, what it
Yeah.
bring these thoughts to you. So
We are
and
good
that's
at
my triggers.
observing.
Can I?
Trigger.
Can I add real quickly too? So affirmations also I think are very big. We talk about that, but the mind, people don't understand like the way that you think about things. I mean,
Yes.
your thoughts affect everything.
Attraction.
Yes, and so when we are even talking about like seasonal depression, like if I know the seasons are about to change, I know my body, I know, okay, I got to get my mind right. That means what am I saying to myself? Journaling, I may
Yes.
start journaling.
Yes.
Being more, what's the word? Being more
Proactive.
intentional, proactive. In, like I said, your self-care. My self-care, if y'all ever drive by the dock in the morning, 8 o'clock, and you see a woman sitting on the dock praying, that's me. I go out there on the dock, I sit for about an hour, I pray about 3 times a week. So it just, everybody's looks different, but you got to figure that out.
But you got to figure it out for yourself. That means
And
knowing
setting
yourself.
boundaries too. Things
Yes.
that you cannot do, say I cannot do it.
Yes.
My time is very
Yes.
important,
Yeah.
If you have to grab coffee, just to sit somewhere and to think through
Yes.
and do that because it's important.
This is what I learned too. It's okay to say no
Yes.
to a bigger yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
the yes is your family.
Yes. No,
Yeah,
no
I
is
love that.
no is a healthy boundary.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's a very short sentence. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will tell people that struggle, and not that I'm teaching people to tell untruths, but I will say if you struggle with that, say I need to check my calendar. You go
Yes.
check my calendar. You just put right family time, and you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have an appointment."
Yes.
They don't need to know what that appointment is.
That's right. That's
You
right.
have an
You
appointment.
feel bad. Like
You do.
I was like, oh, I have to be honest. I have to say exactly what I'm doing. Now
No.
I was like, no, I
No,
don't.
no.
I don't own nobody. Nobody own me. So if I can, I will do it. If I don't do it, then I can't. So
That's right.
we have to be truthful to ourselves. Listen, my mental is more important. If I am good, my children they're gonna be good. Everything else I'm doing.
And that's a part of
So,
self-care,
yes.
saying no.
That's a part. Before we get too close to closing out, there's a couple things that you offer.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Real quick.
I want you to tell about the different groups, couples, and everything.
So we actually right now are doing, we have an anger management group for teens. We have an anger management group for men. We're also offering a stress resilience group for men that starts in 2 weeks. We also wellness education groups for our teachers.
Yes.
So we have a wellness
Glad you're
program.
doing all this.
It's called, we have a program for schools. It's called Empowering the Iconic, where we go to schools and we do programs for the staff and for the kids as well. We do offer something called marriage intensives, and so that's what I do. I will work with a couple for at least, it can be a day and it can be 2 days. But we get in there and we work on the big, intense issues that they may be facing at that time. And then we do have I actually personally have a couples dinner that is coming up.
Yes.
It's going to be September 13th. It is called Dinner in the Park here in Jacksonville. And so the idea is just really trying to find intentional opportunities for couples, because people have asked me why aren't singles allowed. I said because they're not. It's for couples. Couples.
It's more connection.
Couples means
Okay.
two.
It is for the husband, the wife, the partner, but because
Right. Yes.
we want to date too. And
That's
we want
right.
to do that.
That's
And so that is the purpose of that event. And so we
So what day was that again?
September 13th, and it is at the Jacksonville Amphitheater.
Okay.
Yes.
And
So
they can find that where?
It is
Yes.
on Eventbrite. It's dinner in the park at eventbrite.com.
And what is your website in case people want to get on there and see everything you got going on?
Yes, ma'am. So our website is www.withoutlimitscounseling.com.
Great.
All right.
Yes.
You have it.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Yes.
Great.
This won't be the last time we do this.
Miss.
Oh, yeah, no.
Second time,
part
actually.
Yeah, it is my second time. I love it.
But definitely, great conversation
Yes.
today. A lot to take in. Just know that there is help out there for you. There is that emergency hotline 988 if you are contemplating
Yeah, she does.
suicide, or the new word was
Unalive.
Unalive.
Yes.
So definitely use that number if you
Yes.
are able to reach out, get the help you need. There are people standing by to help. Our next show would be August 13th, Inspiring Life Stories. If you guys would drop it in the line below, we'd love to hear your story, and hopefully you will be selected so we can read your story online.
All right.
Awesome.
Follow, like,
Joy
share.
Dreams was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you all.
Sorry.